Hey, what's going on, MPN fans? It's Greg Jones with another episode of Power Players. Today, I'm joined by Shawn Fechter. He is the Senior Vice President for Strategic Growth and Marketing at EagleRider. Shawn, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Greg, it's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Now, I'm coming to these guys here in snowy and cold Ohio, and you're all the way out there on the West Coast in California, although I understand it's a little bit rainy at the moment.
It's rainy, and it's been such a freaky, out of the ordinary winter for us here in California. And I know everyone says we needed the rain, but growing up in Seattle, I mean, man, I'm going to move back there. It rains a lot less now. It's been crazy here.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's probably a welcomed thing for many folks, but if you want to get out there on the bike and do some riding, it's not as nice as a nice sunny day. So I can understand that.
Absolutely. The good news is we've still got great weather in Arizona and other parts of the Sun Belt right now. So we've been doing really well this winter.
Absolutely. So, Shawn, we want to talk to you about some of your background in the power sports industry, and certainly with EagleRider, and then get into some details about EagleRider itself. But let's start with your current role. You are the Senior Vice President of Strategic Growth and Marketing. Can you tell the folks a little bit about what your role entails and what your day-to-day is kind of like?
Yeah, I mean, to tell I do a little bit of everything here at EagleRider. I've been here for 14 years now and started in the tour department. So all our guided tours, self-guided tours, our Club EagleRider subscription, I oversee that team and been lucky enough to have been part of developing that product since we launched it in 2016. Our affiliate and franchise program, which has really been a big focus on our international footprint. And we've gone from 10 international locations 3 or 4 years ago to 54, I think, as of this morning, and then a few more that are coming on right now in places like Geneva and Frankfurt and Munich. So, and then I also oversee, obviously, the marketing here. So basically anything that is customer facing here or tied to our growth, I've had a hand in it at some level over the years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Shawn, you mentioned that you've been at EagleRider itself for 14 years. How about some of your background prior to being an EagleRider? Have you always been in the power sports industry, or have you bounced around in different industries and found power sports later?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a power sports enthusiast. I grew up around motorcycles. I started riding my dad's Honda 250 up and down our street when I was 12 or 13, and moved on to his Yamaha 650 Special and eventually to Harley's. But I really got into the industry as a job. I'd worked for Hertz and for Caterpillar at a high level in sales. And in 2000, took a trip to Mexico and ended up spending 10 years down there. And while I was there, I would come up in the summers, and I had one of my closest friends to this day, Eric Severson, had started a small motorcycle tour company. And this is 2000, 2001. And I would come up in the summer and drive van or lead tours for Eric. And this was before the GPS days, when we used to have to go hide in the bathroom of a gas station and pull a map out and try and figure out where we were going next. But we've come a long way since then. So I was actually a customer of EagleRider before I ever worked here. We used to rent our bikes from EagleRider. And they reached out to me when I was living in Mexico and said, "Hey, are you interested in helping us start a tour department, a guided tour department and self-guided tour department here at EagleRider?" And it was time to head back to the States, and jumped at the opportunity. So I've been here going on 14 years now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you must have been a pretty good customer if they reached out to offer you a job, huh?
Well, I was in sales. I've been in sales my whole career prior to EagleRider, and even in Mexico, I was working for a condo developer down there, building and training sales teams for all the new developments that they were opening. And so they wanted somebody that could run motorcycle tours, and that could also create a great customer experience and engage people in the sales process. And so it was a perfect fit on both sides.
Yeah, that's excellent. So, again, Shawn, you mentioned that you've had a few different roles at EagleRider. Can you just walk us through, again, what some of those roles have been and how they've differed over the years?
Yeah, the first couple of years, it was strictly focused on the tour business. It had always been a little bit of an afterthought, where Eagle Rider was really, this is 2009, 2010. Eagle Rider was really focused on motorcycle rental, and they saw an opportunity on the tour side of the business. And so that's what I did for the first couple of years, is just focus on growing that business. And it kind of hockey sticked for us in terms of growth. And through that, I got involved in marketing, and then eventually with Club Eagle Rider, which is our monthly subscription that's been really successful for us over the years. And I've been involved. I built our call center here in Las Vegas, and so done pretty much anything that we do here that's customer facing. I've had a hand in either creating it or being a part of it at a high level.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Shawn, I want to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about Eagle Rider itself. Obviously you guys are all over the country. You're international in a number of markets.
Right.
So clearly there's a number of people that know about you, but for those that don't know Eagle Rider, can you talk a little bit about what Eagle Rider is, what it does, what it offers?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's still interesting. Is we've been around since 1992, and I'll kind of give you the story of Eagle Rider. It was founded in 1992 with 4 motorcycles in the garage of a house in San Pedro, and the first rental was to 4 Austrian guys. And imagine these guys rolling up in a taxi from LAX in the early 90s, and they're thinking they're going to a business, and they pull up in front of a house in a neighborhood, and the garage door opens, and there's a couple of 26-year-old guys standing there in board shorts with 4 brand new Harleys sitting in the garage. But those guys took them out for 2 weeks and came back and had an incredible time. And 2 of them ended up being 2 of the very first investors in Eagle Rider in the very beginning. And so from there, it's just grown. It's gone from the 4 bikes in a garage to today. We have well over 150 locations worldwide. We're on 6 continents now, where you can do a rental, a motorcycle tour. We've got our Club Eagle Rider subscription. And then a couple years ago, we launched our brand new Eagle Share platform, which is essentially Airbnb for motorcycles. It's like Rider Share or Twisted Roads, that allows you to put your own bike up for rent when you're not using it.
Okay. Oh, very cool. Now, you've mentioned Club Eagle Rider a couple of times. Do you want to just elaborate on what that monthly subscription, gets people versus, just if you came in to rent a bike or do a tour?
Yeah. Club Eagle Rider is great. The idea behind it, when we started building it in 2016 and kind of shaping the idea to what it's become today, was initially, look, even in 2016, to rent a motorcycle, it's not an inexpensive proposition. It's $150 to $250 a day plus sales tax and theft and damage waiver. It's an incredible deal if you compare it to renting an ATV or a luxury car for 24 hours. But that cost can be prohibitive for younger riders, especially. So we wanted to create a subscription or a program that had a much lower point of entry in terms of cost for younger riders or people that were new to the sport. So when we initially rolled out Club Eagle Rider, it was $29 a month, and that got you 1 credit every month. And a credit is good for a 24-hour rental on about half our bikes. Some bikes take 2 credits for a 24-hour rental, some take 3, and then our biggest cruisers might take 4. The average club member can expect to save anywhere from 50 to upwards to 78% off what you'd pay as a retail customer, because you are doing the monthly subscription. And it's turned out to be fantastic. We've hit that younger demographic. It's great for people that are just getting into riding, people that just got their motorcycle license, or, hey, I'm going to take the basic rider course and I'm going to get my motorcycle license this summer. Yeah. It's a great time to join Club Eagle Riders, save up your credits, and then you've got enough in your bank, because you can roll them over for up to 18 months. You've got enough credits in your bank by the time you graduate from the basic riding course and get your license to start renting some of the smaller bikes and build your confidence and build your experience before you ultimately go out and buy something like what's sitting behind me right now. The other side of the coin are people probably like me and you that have been riding for 15, 20, or in my case, 30 plus years, got a couple bikes in the garage. And for them, it's really a motorcycle in their suitcase. Club gives them unfiltered access to $29 a day to $116 a day bikes. And we've got 19 international locations for Club now, on top of almost 70 locations in the US where a club member can go in and redeem their credits. And so you can, as a club member, you can come to Los Angeles and redeem credits and rent bikes. You can go to Athens or Italy, all right? You can go to Rome and Milan. We've got Club EagleRider locations now all over the world.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. So Shawn, along those lines, I'm wondering if you guys do any research or have surveyed those club members or just people who rent from you in terms of the reasons that they do it. Like you said, one of the reasons could be that they're just learning how to ride and want to try out some of those smaller bikes as they're getting into it. But for those guys and women who are regular riders, longtime riders, is it more just to try out new bikes? Is it a rental that they get when they're on the road traveling, whether it's work or for pleasure? What are just some of the scenarios that people come in and rent?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to come work for us on the marketing side, Greg. You hit it right on the head. It really runs the entire spectrum. And like I said, there are people that, it's amazing if you look at the Motorcycle Safety Foundation statistics and the number of people that take the basic riding course, that get a motorcycle license and then never get into the sport. They never buy a bike, and because they don't know what to do. So, again, for those guys and for those men and women that are graduating from that course, it's a great way and a really economical way to have access to, because we're not just Harleys. We've got everything from Yamaha, Triumph, BMW, everything in between. We've even got electric motorcycles.
Okay.
So you can graduate from that course and jump on a smaller Yamaha and get comfortable and work your way up to the mid-size bikes. And maybe you're into the adventure bikes, and we run that whole range. Or if you're interested in riding eventually one of the big Harley cruisers, we've got those as well. So it's great for people that are just starting. A lot of people, our average club member has, 2 motorcycles in the garage. So, about 70% of them are motorcycle owners, and those ones have typically 2 or 3 bikes. And so they use it more as a tool to travel. They want to start checking off those bucket list rides. I want to go ride the Tail of the Dragon. So they'll fly into Nashville and redeem some club credits and take a bike out and do the Tail of the Dragon. Or I want to ride coast to coast, or, I want to ride Pacific Coast Highway from San Francisco to LA. I've always dreamed of doing that stretch. And if you live in Chicago, or you live somewhere like where you are, where there's 3 feet of snow on the ground right now, your choices are, I can wait till the summer, or I can jump on an airplane, fly to San Francisco right now, jump on a bike and spend 3 or 4 days riding down the coast, drop it off in LA and get on a plane and be back at work on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's awesome. It definitely gives people a lot of freedom to ride where they want and ride what they want. You mentioned some of the different OEMs that you guys offer people to rent and to use on these tours. Do you want to elaborate on what some of those different models and makes are?
Yeah, we're the official rental and tour provider for Harley-Davidson in the U.S. They're a great partner of ours. So many of our EagleRider locations are located actually inside Harley dealerships. You'll find places like Los Angeles and Denver, Seattle, Chicago, where we have standalone facilities. We have a great relationship with Yamaha, Honda. So we carry everything from the small, the Honda MT-07, or the Yamaha MT-07, Honda Africa Twin, the brand new Harley-Davidson Pan America, like you see behind me. And then of course the Harley cruisers and really everything in between. The idea is to have access to over 150 locations, and then at those locations to have access to a very wide array of models. We want to be able to cover stuff for the people that are looking for the sport bikes, all the way up to the big cruisers and then the adventure bikes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the offerings, do they differ, location to location and dealership to dealership, or is it generally the same?
They do differ. Obviously, if we have locations that are inside of a Harley dealership, those are typically a 100% Harley-Davidson that we offer out of those locations. But if you come to Las Vegas, again, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, the big markets, some of our locations in Florida, you'll find the wide array of all makes, models, and manufacturers.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Now, Shawn, I want to ask you if you went in to an Eagle Rider location today, what bike are you choosing and why?
It's funny. I don't know. Maybe you thought I was joking earlier, but I really am hiding the bike behind me in my office. It's not just staged here for the podcast today for the interview.
Yeah.
This is the brand new. We've got the exclusive rights in 2023 for rentals and tours on the Harley-Davidson Pan America. This is one of the very first ones that we've received here in LA. It's got 7 miles on it. So I've been hiding it in here for a few days. I'm determined. It's been raining here the last couple of days, but I'm determined to get it out this weekend and be the first one at Eagle Rider. That's bragging rights here at this company because almost everybody rides. Yeah. So it's a badge of honor here if you're one of the first ones to get to roll out on one of the new models or the new year, the new bikes for that season that we get.
Right.
So for me right now, it really depends on what I want to do. I love the Yamaha MT-07. That's fun for just ripping around town. For longer rides, I'm a big fan of the Road Glide, the Harley-Davidson Road Glide. I am super stoked though to ride this bike behind me. I've done a lot of miles on the BMW GSs and the Triumph Tigers, and I'm really pumped to ride this one. So much so that we've created a brand new tour series that's exclusively on Harley-Davidson Pan Americas that's going to run between Seattle and Anchorage all summer long, and then some tours that just go, some shorter ones that just go Anchorage to Anchorage. So you'll have a chance to ride that entire Alcan Highway, ride the Yukon, ride Denali and all those incredible places in Alaska on a Pan America with Eagle Rider in 2023.
That's super cool. And yeah, I don't blame you for hiding the bike in your office so you get first dibs.
Nobody. I'm in a building like 3 away from our showroom, and nobody ever comes over here, so it's good. They're probably wondering where it is right now.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get out on that bike real soon. Shawn, you just teased a couple of tours, and you mentioned about the tours a second ago too. Do you want to elaborate on, what those entail and some of the different ones that you guys offer, and then maybe go into some of the mentality of how those tours get created?
Yeah, the tours, that's a great question. I rarely get asked how they're created. I'm excited to tell you about that one. So the tours for us, we really run 3 types. There are self-guided tours, and that's what really appeals to the U.S. rider. We typically, U.S. or Canadian rider, we don't take 2-week holidays like most Europeans do. So, we've got 5 days, 3 days, a week at the most to do a ride. So the self-guided tour, which is bike, hotel, we have people here that all they do is sit and build amazing motorcycle itineraries, whether you want to take one of our base ones and customize it or do 100% customization, or just take one of our prepackaged tours. So again, we'll give you the bike, we'll book the hotels for you, we'll do the entire turn-by-turn directions on the route. We put everything in a mobile tour guide app that fits right in your phone here, and it's got everything in it. So all your hotel vouchers. We've spent years building thousands of points of interest. So as you're standing in front of a cool part of a national park or a national historic monument, there's a pop-up that'll tell you all about the significance of that to the specific region or to the area. So self-guided tours are very, very popular with our US and Canadian riders. We also do guided tours, and this is really the high-end one where you've got a guide at the front, and our guides are really rock stars. A lot of them have been with us since I started in 2009, 2010, and they're incredible at what they do.
Yeah.
And you got a guide up front, you got a support vehicle running behind that's carrying your luggage from door to door. I know my wife, if she's going for a ride with me, she's not going more than 2 or 3 days unless she can bring a suitcase and throw it in the van. And there's a lot of guys that are the same way.
Yeah.
So, and then the great thing about the guided tours is that you get to ride with 10 or 12 bikes, 10 or 12 people, and a lot of them are couples from all over the world, people that you never would have met otherwise. And anybody that's in the motorcycling community knows what a social sport it is. And I think on the guided tours, that's always been the coolest part for me over the years, is to see the way the group comes together. You see them leave Eagle Rider, and they're all over the place because you've got people from Italy and the US and Spain and Australia and the UK, and they didn't know each other 12 hours or 24 hours before. And you see those same people roll back in at the end of a tour a week or 2 weeks later, and you sincerely can't tell the people that have known each other for 20 years or 2 weeks. That's the kind of bond that they create on the road. And that's usually the biggest takeaway for people that do a guided tour. They have all these reasons they want to do it. Yeah, like I've always dreamed of standing at the Grand Canyon and getting there on a motorcycle. I've always wanted to ride through Monument Valley or Southern Utah. Or I've always wanted to do Route 66. But if you talk to them at the farewell parties at the end of the tour, the overriding theme and the biggest surprise for 100% of them are the relationships that they created on the road. And you'll already hear them that night starting to talk about what they're all going to get together and do next year or the year after that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine the type of bond that you form, a once in a lifetime kind of tour like that, and a trip and getting a ride. That's really great.
It's amazing because I have still, like you said, and I've got 20 plus years in the tour business, aside from everything else that I've done here at Eagle Rider. Like I said, I was running guided tours before I ever worked at Eagle Rider, kind of back in the old Wild West days of running guided tours. But it was always amazing to me to be, I use the Grand Canyon as a great example. It was always amazing to me to be standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon with this group of people and to see, grown men with tears welling up in their eyes, because this is something, especially if they weren't from the US, this is something that they've been dreaming about doing, a lot of these people, for 20 or 30 years. We used to do this tour called the EagleRider's tour that actually retraced, and we worked with a guy that had spent years researching, based on the movie, the actual route that they did in the trip. And so he helped us lead this, and we even had 2 replica bikes built on modern day soft toe frames.
That's cool.
The Billy bike and the Captain America bike, and we would carry them on a trailer, and then we'd pull them off for a little bit each day, and people would take turns riding them. And it was incredible, especially the people were so rabid, and people overseas to understand what huge fans they were and what an impact that movie had on their life. And then to be able to be on the road, and for us to be in the desert in California, and we bought all these old watches, and they would replicate the scene where he takes off the watch and throws it on the ground, and we would video everybody doing that, and just cool things like that. And that rolls into talking about how we build the tours, and it really is all about the experience. And we want each day, they're not inexpensive. So it's important for us that, the hotels are good. Our bikes are always, 95% of our bikes are current model year. We're buying almost 2,000 brand new motorcycles for 2023, just in our corporate fleet, just in the US.
Yeah.
And anything that's a 2022 is a very, very low mile 2022 that we bought late in the season last year. So you can have great bikes. We book great hotels, but the route is really, really important, because you want people to have that feeling that at the end of the day, that there's no way tomorrow can be better. And then halfway through the ride the next day, they're thinking, this is insane. This is better than yesterday. There's a stretch where on a guided tour and self-guided tour, you leave Arizona in the morning, and by that evening, you're sitting with your legs dangling over the rim of the Grand Canyon, watching the sun go down and thinking, this is unbelievable. You get up the next morning, do a helicopter flight over the Grand Canyon, ride the entire 18-mile south rim of the Grand Canyon. And how are you going to top that? Well, 3-4 o'clock that same afternoon, we're inside Monument Valley with the Navajo as their guests. There's a 10-foot bonfire going. They're in full headdresses. They're playing traditional music. You're eating Navajo tacos under a 2,000-foot spire, and you're thinking, okay, this is insane. And how is it tomorrow going to be better? Yeah. And the next day you ride up the Moki Dugway, a gravel road that's literally cut into the side of a mountain. And then that evening you're at Bryce Canyon. You're at 9,000 feet looking at these incredible sights of Bryce Canyon. And it just keeps getting better and better and better each day. And for us, that's what it's all about.
Sure.
It's about giving them an on-road experience that just completely blows their expectations out of the water. And believe me, these people are coming in with already very high expectations.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine. But it sounds like you guys are certainly delivering. And Shawn, just like the bike question, I'll ask you, you mentioned the Grand Canyon. It sounds like you've done this one already, but is there a tour out there that, if you were spending the money today that you'd want to jump on?
It depends on if you want to do the U.S. or
I'll leave it to
overseas.
Anything you want. Anything you want.
For me in the U.S., we just built a couple new tours that I've been wanting to get up for a couple of years. We try and every year. We have people that save for 5, 6, 7 years to come on a trip with us, and we have people that have ridden every year. Just had an email the other day, a guy that was actually riding with me before I worked at Eagle Rider that's done 7 or 8 trips, guided tours with his son and his family over the years. So there's people that can afford to come every year. There's people that save up for years to come do a trip like this. And when you're on the road, like I said, you can't tell the difference. But we always have to have, for those people that are coming back frequently, new things to offer them every year. Yeah. So there's a couple that I'm super excited about. There's 3 guided tours that are also created as self-guided tours. One goes all through southern Utah and ends in Colorado. It's an absolutely incredible tour that hits some amazing sites. There's another one that I built that's 10 days and you never leave Colorado, and you're over a 10, 11 or 12,000 foot mountain peak almost every day of that ride. That one is absolutely stunning. The one I am definitely going on this summer is the Alaska tour. So for me, it's hard with kids and work, again, to take the 2-week trip from Seattle up to Anchorage. So I'm going to fly into Anchorage with some media and with the founder of our company, and going to do the 6-night, 7-day tour from Anchorage to Anchorage that hits Fairbanks and Denali and Valdez and all these incredible sites in Alaska. And then the last one is overseas. We've been building tours, and we've got one that's accessible only to club members for later in 2023. That's going to be a 7-day tour around the island of Crete in Greece, which is going to be absolutely insane. And then for 2024, our exclusive club member guided tour is going to be in Morocco, and it's going to ride between Casablanca and Marrakesh, which are 2 of our most popular international locations. So pretty much anywhere. I've done most of the bucket list rides in the U.S., the roads and the trips I've been on. My list now mainly consists of stuff overseas that I've been dreaming of doing. And one of the reasons I've been kind of selecting our new locations overseas based on, okay, where do I really want to ride in the next couple of years? So that's why you'll see a lot of places now. Again, Morocco, Casablanca, Athens, Rome, Milan. We just signed a deal to add a couple new locations that are coming on in the next couple of weeks in Munich and Frankfurt. Like I said, Geneva, Switzerland earlier. Access to some incredible roads from those places as well. We've got 11 locations now in Japan. We went a couple years ago with our partner there and did a 7-day trip through Japan that was absolutely stunning. So I could go on for hours about all the cool places that we can go ride.
Yeah, well, it's I don't blame you for listing them all out. I mean, one sounds better than the next, and there's probably no wrong pick there. So. There's some truly incredible rides, and we have some. It's been great over the years to be able to bring in, especially on the tour side of the business, people that are really passionate about riding, that love nothing more than to share that passion, share that knowledge, and build tours for other people. And then getting that email or that text message from that rider while they're out on that trip saying, "Oh my God, this is absolutely incredible." And again, it's usually them with a selfie as the sun is going down in some incredible location in the Southwest or Route 66 or somewhere along the East Coast. Yeah. That's excellent stuff. Definitely memories that last a lifetime for sure that you guys are helping to create.
Yep.
Shawn, I want to go back to one thing that you said about the dealers that you guys are associated with. And obviously a large part of that is through Harley, since you guys have that partnership. But obviously, we have an audience of dealers out there. So do you want to talk about that relationship? And do you guys have relationships with dealerships outside of the Harley network too?
Most of our relationships outside of the Harley network are tied to off-road rentals. So, that's one of our areas of emphasis right now in the US is we want to grow our off-road rental business through our affiliate network. And so that's where we would have non-Harley dealers that would be able to get involved with the Eagle Rider affiliate program. So you would become an Eagle Rider location. Our website gets several million unique visitors a quarter, all looking for some sort of motorcycle or power sports rental somewhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's the go-to source. If you're thinking motorcycle rental or tour anywhere in the world, typically the first place you're going to look is Eagle Rider. Just like if you're looking for a household item or just about anything these days, you're going to look at Amazon first. So, I like to look at it that way. We're the Amazon of motorcycles, and on top of that, we do a lot of our own thing. But our affiliate and franchise network has really taken off, especially overseas. For us here in the U.S., the opportunity for dealers are those that are in the on-road and off-road space that want to get involved in off-road rentals. And that's one of the fastest growing rental segments for us right now.
Okay. Very good. Then Shawn, along those same lines, I wanted to ask, you mentioned that, you guys got some brand new 2023 models. You bought you're going to buy about 2,000 bikes just for the U.S. How long do you guys keep, a model year bike in service before you're rotating some of that out? If that bike needs servicing, throughout the course of its life through you guys, is that something you guys rely on the dealers for, or do you guys do that in-house?
Yeah, it's a great question. It really depends on where the bikes are located. So if it's inside of a Harley dealership and we're running Harley only, then we're using their service department. So all the bikes are factory serviced. Okay. So whether it's, Los Angeles is a great example where we run everything here. Harley-Davidson, Yamaha, BMW, Triumph, Honda, Zero, and Royal Enfield, right? All of our technicians here, and we've got an entire building with, I think we've got 11 or 12 technicians here, and we've got even more than that in Las Vegas. They're all factory trained to service each of those bikes. And if they're backed up or it's something that they can't take care of, it's a major repair, then we have relationships with our local dealers, service department, we'll go take care of that. So all the bikes are factory serviced, to whatever interval, 1,000-mile service, or we only use factory parts for replacement. But typically, how long we'll keep a bike is tied more to mileage than the age of the bike. We don't like to keep anything more than 2 years, but if we hit a certain mileage threshold, because obviously if you buy 2,000 bikes a year, you got to sell 2,000 bikes a year to make room for the new ones the following year. And there is a sweet spot where you want to maximize, obviously, the return on that investment when you go to sell the bike. So we're always looking at that. But typically we like to keep a bike a year and a half at the most.
Okay, very good. And then Shawn, you just mentioned you got to sell that bike eventually. What kind of channels do you guys go through to sell that bike?
We have relationships. Again, part of our relationships with the OEMs and with the dealers is that we sell them back to dealerships. So it's a great opportunity for them to take the low mile bikes from our rental fleet that they know that we've taken great care of over the course of the lifespan. Because obviously, if that bike's not well taken care of, it's not rentable for us. And when it's not on the road, we are, at the end of the day, we are a for-profit business. So we want to make sure that those bikes are on the road as often as they can be. So we have relationships with the OEMs and with the dealers where we sell them back to dealers. So dealers get first right of refusal. And typically a bike doesn't ever make it past that. So the used bike market has been so hot lately that as fast as we can get them ready and list them on our internal site to the individual OEMs and their dealers, they're gone.
Yeah. Excellent. Got just a couple more questions for you here, Shawn. And this
Sure.
one's maybe related to the prior role that you had as Senior Vice President of Brand Experience. But do you want to talk about what some of those key things are that Eagle Rider is always striving to accomplish? Because you guys are, again, you're trying to give people this great experience on a bike, whether they're renting it or whether they're, on that dream vacation for a tour.
Yeah.
What are just some of those key things that you guys are striving for?
Yeah, I love that question. And it's something that we really thought we had a handle on over the years. And around 2014, 2015, we brought in an outside consultant that came from the automotive world. And he was really not a brand builder, but kind of holds up a mirror to your company, I guess is a good way to look at it. And we always thought because we had a cool logo and our guys at the counter wore cool pit shirts and had tattoos, it's easy to confuse a great customer experience with a cool kind of in-store experience, right? A cool atmosphere isn't the same thing as a great customer experience. So we went through this process that was just weeks and weeks of surveying our customers. And we talked to people that had rented from us or did a tour 5 years ago or a year ago. And we talked to people that had reservations that were going to pick up this coming summer or that particular summer. And we just asked them a bunch of questions, which was really to get to, what are you looking for out of your time with Eagle Rider? And where we thought we were 100% dialed in, it turns out we were just a little bit off. And so we were able to take those things and really change our mindset from being a motorcycle rental and tour company to looking at ourselves as an experience company, a motorcycle experience company, and a rental or tour or Club Eagle Rider is just a conduit or a vessel to help you achieve that experience. And we, out of that, said, okay, we really want to make sure what's important to people. Number one is reassuring. They want to know, because it's not inexpensive. Even if for Club Eagle Rider, you're still paying a monthly subscription, it's only $29, but it's still $29,
Mm-hmm.
right? And today we know that we need every dollar we can get, right? So we need to make sure that it's reassuring, that your money, and more important, your dream, this dream ride that you've had for a year or 5 years or 10 years is safe with us, that you're working with the right people, that it's authentic. This company, I love, it's built by riders for riders. The two guys that founded this company are still avid riders. Carson Summers, who's our new CEO, who actually took over a week right before the pandemic shut everything down. He came from very high level car rental industry. We ran entire continents for a car rental company. Was not a rider. He's a total gearhead. He's a car guy, but he went and did the rider course, 2.5 years ago. And now the guy's got 3 motorcycles sitting in his garage, and he did that. He graduated up from riding. So, it's really important that we provide an authentic experience. And we love to say that this company truly was built by riders for riders.
Yeah.
We're not a tech company. We're just a bunch of people that love to ride, that want to help our customers achieve the same thing. So reassuring, authentic, and then social. I think I hit it on it with the guided tours. We want to put our customers in an environment that's very social, whether it's the in-store experience that you have or the interaction with one of our reservations agents or your time on the road. I think that's the one thing when, especially these international riders that come over, they're always blown away by how friendly everybody is. They have this vision of Americans as rude, and they're just blown away by how welcoming and friendly that people in the U.S. are, or people overseas are, the U.S. riders. And then the most important thing is liberating. It's for people that ride, it's easy to understand that motorcycling is more than just a way to get from point A to point B, that it really is a release. It's a way, and it doesn't take too many miles on the road for kind of the junk or all the stress from that day or that week to just kind of wash off you. And there is a sense of liberation that comes with being on the road. And Pacific Coast Highway is a great example. It's awesome to do in a car, but it's a completely different experience when you do it from the back of a motorcycle with that wind in your face, that wind therapy that you get, I guess is a good way to put it.
Right.
So
right.
Reassuring, authentic, social, liberating. That's everything that we look at our company through the lens of in terms of marketing, how we present ourselves, how we present our rentals, and the way that we treat our customers when they're on one of our bikes.
Yeah. Well, Shawn, I think those are all smart tactics, and certainly over the course of 30 plus years, it seems like you guys at Eagle Rider have figured it out pretty well for yourselves. So kudos. And the last question here, just forward thinking now, you're at the point you guys are at now. What's kind of on the horizon? What are some of those things that in the next year, 5 years, you're thinking might pop up?
Yeah, I think for us, the biggest opportunities that we see and where we focus a lot of our attention right now is on Club Eagle Rider. Club Eagle Rider and Eagle Share, and those are the two things I'll tell you about real quick. We talked about Club, but it's just such a tremendous value. And, everybody is looking for an excuse to go ride somewhere. And it's just the planning can be daunting, for someone that lives right now where there's 3 feet of snow on the ground, which is most of the country, right? Anywhere but the Sun Belt. We've got 50 locations that are open year round where it's 70 degrees right now. I mean, again, I mentioned to you earlier, we've got our video team right now is flying to Arizona to meet a bunch of club members and do a 3-day ride together, and they're going to film the whole thing. I was looking at the weather, and it's 72 degrees over there tomorrow.
Yeah.
T-shirt riding. So, Club Eagle Rider is a big area of emphasis for us because we've got so many options available at such a discounted rate. But they also get a VIP level treatment when they're in store. It's kind of like Hilton Honors or Marriott Bonvoy when you go to a hotel. There's a separate check-in line. Where their bikes are staged under a shade tent with a bike cover. There's just a level of VIP treatment that you get as a club member in our locations that you don't get coming in off the street. And that's not to say we don't treat our full price retail customers great, because we do. You just get an added level of service as a club member. So club is a very important part of our growth strategy. And the other part is Eagle Share, which again it's essentially Airbnb for your motorcycle. And that allows those guys that have 2 or 3 bikes in the garage or 1 bike in the garage. It's a great way to have a side hustle and put your bike to work for you when you're not using it. And you get to pick your own rental rate, and you get access to all of the customers that are visiting Eagle Rider, exposure for your bike. And you have the ability to communicate with the customer before you say, yeah, I'll rent to this person, or no, I'll pass on this one because I'm going to ride this weekend, or maybe they don't have the experience level that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shawn, just, you mentioned that. What's the insurance like on that? Is that something that you guys cover in case of an accident, or is that still the responsibility of the initial bike owner there?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. So when you list your bike for rent on Eagle Share, your bike is, while it's on rent, the second it goes on rent through the platform, and again, everything's done, the check-in, check-out, everything's done through your mobile phone. It's the same thing our agents use at our rental counter. The second it goes on rent until the second it comes off rent, it's covered for the full replacement value of the bike. So any damage up to a full replacement value with a max, I think it's $25,000. So, there aren't a lot of bikes right now. So yeah, if you've got a $40,000 CVO, it's not, probably not something you want to put on the site, but 99% of the bikes out there you'd have enough in the insurance to cover it in the event that it is damaged or needs to be replaced.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Well, Shawn, I don't know about our audience here, but I know you certainly made me want to get out there and ride, especially this time of year here in Ohio. So I really do appreciate you giving us some time to chat about your background and your time at Eagle Rider, as well as everything that you guys have going over there. It's a lot of awesome stuff, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Greg, thank you. It's been awesome being on. I love the questions that you ask, and come on over anytime, buddy. The sun is going to come out here starting next week, and we'll be on the road, or we can meet in Florida or Arizona or New Orleans, somewhere warm, and go for a ride.
All those locations sound great, so hopefully one of these days I can take you up on that. But Shawn,
look forward to it.
Thanks again for the time, and to all you guys out there watching, we appreciate you checking out this episode of Power Players featuring Shawn Fechter of Eagle Rider, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.